Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to the inaugural first ever Burrito Bowl Podcast. My name is Kevin Lam.
And I am Trevor Tiegs.
And we're very excited to be launching our podcast into the podcast world. You know, we just realized that there isn't any good podcasts out there at all whatsoever in gaming or anything else. So we decided to make our own. And today we have a great question.
There's just none. There's no good podcast. Don't
No,
even look.
Don't even.
They're
look
not
at
out
podcast.
there.
No, the first ones. We're breaking water here, guys. We're breaking bread. We're breaking water. We're setting a course into newfound territory here. And a little bit about myself. I go by GodofLaugh as all of my social handles, and I was a part-time streamer, and amateur content creator. And my partner in crime over here is.
Hi, I go by TJayT currently. You might remember me as from such failed internet personas as Madtown Games or Tigers. I started back in like 2013 with content creation through YouTube, where I did just random gaming videos and stuff like that. And then I broke into streaming in like 2015 and I've kind of been on and off. But in the last couple years, I have been streaming pretty regularly.
And who better to talk about gaming news than two amateur content creators?
We're experts.
We are the experts in this field because no one else is doing it. So let's just start from there. We wanted to start today the first podcast with a pretty interesting question. This was brought up by TJayT over here, and that was top 5 influential content creators and what they did to inspire you, and what did you take away from them. So we both got lists to start with, and we'll let T start and we'll go from there. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's go, take it away, buddy.
All right, so the first person that I put on my list, he's a smaller content creator, but I've been watching him for years. His name is Shokyo. He started off primarily YouTube, and his whole thing was like Nintendo hot takes. Like, he was in a time of like 2013, 2014, there was a lot of Nintendo YouTubers who would essentially deride Nintendo and like just loved everything they did, and you couldn't say anything negative to the company like at all. And it was kind of crazy because that was a time when like the Wii U was out, and the Wii U wasn't good, like flat up. It just wasn't the console that it could have been. And Shokyo was kind of devil's advocate. He came onto YouTube and kind of just like slapped everybody in the face with like, no, this isn't good. Like, and it was just entertaining to watch. So he was a huge inspiration for me when I started out in YouTube, because I felt like he really showed up and went against the grain compared to what everyone else was doing on YouTube at the time, especially in the Nintendo scene. So he was, again, like I said, an early inspiration for me. And he's still a content creator. I still watch his streams pretty much every day. He streams on Twitch and Mixer, but he's primarily Smash Bros, which is what I do. So it's really cool to bond over that. And I just think that, like, to me, he's a very personable guy. He remembers people in his streams, even though he has like 60 to 70 live viewers at a time. It's a really solid community. And so I think it's really cool to see him come from these beginnings of YouTube, 7 years ago, and then jump into where he is now, pretty much like almost at Twitch partner status. And it's just like, it's not the typical story you hear. Usually you hear a content creator and you don't find them until they're like gigantic or blown up or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool to me to watch somebody's progression like that, and it's something to aspire to.
That's great. that's such a cool story, because I've never heard of Shokyo before, and this is coming from a person who's I have played Nintendo games before in the past, and I own a Switch, and I own all the. No, I've played most of the mainstay games that Nintendo's ever released. And I can definitely say that that's very true what you were saying, where it's like back in the day, pretty much no one ever really criticized Nintendo on kind of anything that they did back then. It was just kind of like, people would criticize Xbox, people would criticize PlayStation, people would criticize PC games, but Nintendo happened to be that middle child, that perfect, like, oh, like, they're fine. You know, like, there's nothing wrong with them.
That's exactly right.
It's like they have Pokemon. They were like, just keep releasing Pokemon, keep releasing Smash, keep releasing these Fire Emblem games, you know, and everyone was happy and cool, you know. And it's cool to hear of a content creator who is very much like, no, like, not everything's perfect. Like, there are issues with Nintendo and, like, their properties and the things that they're doing. And, you know, that's just always a good thing to hear, because things get old once you start hearing, oh, they're amazing, they have no faults whatsoever, over and over and over again. Because then the content just becomes like, cool, everyone likes them. So what?
Right.
Who cares?
And I think it's really interesting how he approached it too, because he didn't like just make a video and just like bash for no reason other than because he was angry at Nintendo. Like, he researched, he brought facts to the table, he brought statistics, and it was just like, it was super interesting. And I remember showing like other people that I was like into YouTube with, and I was like, dude, like, look at this guy, like, he knows his stuff, and it's really entertaining to watch.
Right.
Because he doesn't only come with facts, but like, he's got a very explosive personality too, to where like, if he gets heated about something, it's really, really funny to watch him like rant about it.
He's like a very caring fanboy. He's like, he cares so much. He's like, here's the facts. It's not just like, I don't like you because I don't like it. It's, this is the problem. Here's the numbers. Here's all this information. Like, I love you so much, but there are issues I want you to fix. And that's
right.
That's really cool, because you see too many of those other YouTubers and content creators they don't really go into the details of the issues with their with the companies and games and properties that they love. You know, it's always too one-sided, you know. But if you really love something, it's very cool to see YouTubers like, here's the facts, here's objective reports, statistics, and metrics based off of, you know, whatever. And I don't know the specifics on exactly what he was covering. Either if it was like a specific, was he covering more like the games that Nintendo was releasing? Because pretty much everything from Nintendo is like first party.
I think it was pretty much, back then it was like their policies. It was like what they were doing with like their online infrastructure, because like the Wii U had terrible compared to like Xbox Live and PlayStation Network, it wasn't even in contention. It was just that bad.
Nintendo was living in 2001.
Right, yeah. And like, just their decisions with the Wii U hardware, and like, you know, people weren't criticizing the fact that like the Wii U, the deluxe edition, had like 32 gigabytes of internal storage, and that was it. Whereas like the Xbox 360 and PS3 were having 500 gigabyte models out, and it was just like, they were just so far behind in like console development and online infrastructure, and nobody was seeming to say anything about it.
True. I will say though, the one thing that kind of shocked me is still like, even though it was bad, it still made them a lot of money. At least from what I can remember, like the Wii and the Wii U generation of Nintendo products that came out sold like crazy. Maybe this is just the Wii I'm thinking about, but I remember
it was definitely just the Wii. The Wii
okay.
sold like, yeah, the Wii sold like hotcakes.
Okay,
and it was because it was marketed towards like casual gamers more so.
Okay, that's what
everybody wanted to play the you know, I want to play the bowling, but yeah, Wii U did not sell well at all.
Okay, I was thinking Wii then, because I was like, I remember there was like, I forget, it was either one that's like, it sold like insanely to the point where it was like, it was sold out for months, just like the Switch was when it first got released. They had the initial release, and then there wasn't like another batch ready for like a long time down the line. And people were trying to like black market, like upsell them on Amazon and eBay and everything else. But, so Shokio's now he's still doing YouTube content, right?
He's kind of shied more away from YouTube and kind of just stuck to more live stream stuff. He still uploads content, but it's not like regular.
Right, it's not like what he was doing before.
Right, yeah.
And that's an interesting transition. Transitioning from making less, more for YouTube, I was assuming was his full-time thing he was doing, and now he switched to full-time streaming as his content creation path. That's really interesting, because a lot of people usually start the opposite. They start streaming, and then they try to develop a YouTube following
right
after the fact.
And right. they'll post like their stream clips onto YouTube and stuff, and that's how they build a YouTube following. Yeah,
exactly. That's interesting. But Shokyo, that's cool. I'm gonna have to look him up. I'm very curious because I respect you and and the things that you like, and I'm very interested in discovering new content creators. So it always helps. It helps me to see like what other people are doing and like learning from, just what other people do. You can't be in an isolated little bubble. That's dope though. Cool. So
just as a side thing, real quick, I looked up the Wii and Wii U sales numbers. The Wii in all sold 101 million units. Right, that's really good. That's insane. The Wii U sold 13.5 million units.
Okay, never
mind.
So
about a tenth of how many the Wii sold.
Ooh, that's not great. that is a terrible yikes. So I think I take back my previous statement. It was definitely the Wii that was the crazy seller for them. But they had that one, they messed up. But now they have the Switch, which is sound like
oh yeah, the Switch is doing great.
Like
so
nobody's business. Especially now with Animal Crossing coming out. And everybody in the fucking world, that's the first one. Everybody in the world is playing Animal Crossing and is like freakishly obsessed with that game.
Yep.
But I still don't get it. I'm gonna take a side here. I just still don't get the appeal of it. I bought the game, I tried it, I played it, but I don't know. There's nothing like that keeps me wanting to keep going back and playing it, because every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, these are really cool. And maybe just like it's my own undoing that I just look at my friends' island and then I look at their playtime and I'm like, oh my God, I do not have that kind of time to make something just look cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a living simulator kind of game. It's something that you play for a couple hours a day and you just keep going. There's really no end to the game. You just keep doing things.
It's insanity. Like even my friends, they gave me money and recipes to jumpstart my career, and I was like, holy crap. When I was looking at like the cost of a house and then like upgrading it and like the continuous upgrades that you have to get the bigger and bigger house, and I'm like, how is it possible that you guys, like, without the money involved, it would have taken me like months, real life time, to have made that money?
It's all about the turnip game, dude. You just buy and sell turnips.
Yeah,
that's 100% how you make money in that game.
Yeah, and I was like, I was just selling pocket change of weeds and apples to make money, and I'm like, I'm making like 300-400 bells, and I'm like, okay, cool. I guess it's gonna take me like a gajillion years to pay off this house. I just got out of student debt. That's great. I feel like this is too stressful.
Just put some triggering like
yeah, just like I'm making no money. This debt is only getting bigger for me. This is
I hated doing this in real life. Why would I want to do this in a video game?
Yeah, I was like but that aside that, so a content creator that I enjoy, that I've been watching for a very long time, and this is he's a YouTuber, long time YouTuber, OG YouTuber, like one of the first true YouTube partners in the game, and it's Phil DeFranco, the Phil DeFranco Show. Yeah, he's huge. Quick synopsis of Phil: his whole channel is short form news segments, and he collects news articles of various topics that happen, and he posts like once every other day, because he lets the news catch up, and then every segment he has is like a 10-12 minute segment where he talks about all the news that happened in those 2 days of whatever it may be, and gives his take. And he always does something, if there's something kind of charitable thing to do, he'll always link charitable links, and he'll let people know. It's very informative. It's very John Oliver like, where he has a very big portion of a call to action. He'll tell you the news, his opinions on it. If there's something wrong with it, and he's trying to get people informed, and there's something you can do, he will be like, all right, here's what you can do if you want to help. Here's links to a charitable donation. Here's links to X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And he started as a small YouTuber back in the day before anyone really knew what YouTube was. And he was just making content, you know, and then slowly over the course of like several years, like I said, he's been in the game since 2006, 2007. So he's a 13-year YouTube career person, which makes him one of like the oldest, if not one of the oldest YouTubers out there. And
that's like some Smosh stuff, dude. Like,
yeah, like it was him, Smosh,
right.
like at that level of like
Nigahiga, like yeah,
like they were the ones who really kind of jump started the whole YouTube becoming a YouTuber kind of a thing,
right?
You know, and it was something that I just really enjoyed watching his content because it's very insightful. He usually tries to tell the news from both perspectives. You know, he tries to give a little bit, all right, like here's like this side of the news, here's this side of the news, and this is why there's issues with this, you know. And I really respected the fact that he was so consistent. Like he never missed an upload. And that was the thing that kind of really shocked me, is like he was always loading so much content. And that's because of the type of content he was creating, which is just news. And in the world, there's always going to be like every day.
Yeah, stuff happens every day.
Exactly.
So.
He can make content every single day about a gajillion things. So, and that's one of the things I really enjoyed, because like the content was easily digestible, quick, informative, and consistent. And it really kind of like, that's what really got me into watching YouTube originally. Because before I wasn't, you know, but this was back when YouTube was starting, and I just thought it was a place for random videos of cats. And, you know, I had the mindset of like a 30-year-old Karen, just like, oh, there's all these cool little videos on the interwebs. And then I started discovering his content, and it made me really like, oh, like this is really cool. Like I really enjoy, you know, this is really cool to see, like he did everything himself, you know, the recording, the audio, the editing. When he was by himself, it was just him doing everything. And I was like, that's such a cool, like, upstart. Blew my mind, and, you know, made me want to go down a content creation route 13 years later. Not right away.
I think I haven't watched too much Phil DeFranco, but the stuff that I have watched is like you said, it's super informative. It's good that he provides multiple angles to an issue and doesn't just, he's pretty much like as unbiased as I think you can be.
Yeah, unless it's something very obvious, like
right. If it's something that he's like passionate about, and it's like something, you know, this is wrong very clearly. He's
not going to be like, hey, so white supremacy, it's bad, but also maybe not.
Right.
He's kind of very much like, that's a bad thing.
He literally does that too. He literally does like the hand motion, and that's one thing I really like about him too. Is like, I think his tone, his delivery is really, it's like if you hear a Philip DeFranco video or like a podcast or something, you know it's him.
Exactly.
Like he has a very distinct tone to his videos and to his voice.
Oh yeah, he's got a great voice. He's very, very like, you know it's him, and he's very animated. He keeps things interesting the entire time.
Right.
He never goes like, all right, guys, in today's news, you know, it's nothing boring. It's, you know, hey, we're talking about the news today, guys. Let's do this.
Right.
All right. Who's your next content creator that you enjoy?
So the next one that I have on my list is AVGN, or the Angry Video Game Nerd. He's under a YouTube channel called Cinemassacre. That's like his media company. But the character of the Angry Video Game Nerd, it's a series, a long time running series that he's had, where his name is James Rolfe, the guy that is behind all this. Mm-hmm. And he dresses up as this nerdy character. He's always got like a pocket protector, and his whole character is like an enraged, like alcoholic, old school gamer, and he just talks about how bad and hard these old NES games were. And I remember watching back in like, it was probably 2007, 2008, when he started uploading content. He started uploading like videos about the NES games like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and like what other ones did he do? Friday the 13th, and he did just a bunch of other stuff. And but he's absolutely hilarious. He's made content for, like I said, years, over 10 years, 13, 14 years, and he's always been consistent. He's always rolled with the punches and the changes between obviously, like, the YouTube algorithm doesn't like you just screaming the F word and slamming rolling rocks as fast as you can, you know, like, obviously that's not going to do well. So he made the adjustments where necessary in order to continue going, but he still has the same sense of humor over the years, and I really like that. Another thing that I appreciate about him is he's delved into, from this AVGN, he's delved into so many different things, and he was able to capitalize on opportunities. He made his own feature-length film for AVGN. He does James and Mike video reviews now, so he reviews like old movies and stuff. They did a channel called Board James where they did like board game reviews and stuff like that. So I think it's just really cool how he was able to take something like one series and not just do that series for 13 years. He continued it, but he also split into a bunch of different things that he enjoys doing and that makes good content for people to watch.
Yeah. Didn't he also have a video game from the guys who did Death Battle?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I remember like they had the game. Oh wow. But it's crazy when you see his evolution over the years. Because like I've watched his content for a long time too, and the fact that he went from one and is able to now he has all these different projects that he's working on and has worked on. It's great to see when YouTubers are able to like flow with how technology has evolved and how different revenue streams are able to come in for them and be like, okay, like YouTube can't just be my one thing. I need to work on other things, other content, and keep pushing stuff out. Because at the end of the day, the name of the game is content creation, and he's done a phenomenal job at it. You know,
right?
He's one of those old school people too. He's been around for so long.
Yeah, one thing I really like about him is that like most people that are in a position where he is, he's had millions of subscribers for years now. Like people have been watching him forever, and he's been really popular. But he has managed to avoid any sort of controversy, given that even given his character, like what he does, and
knock on wood soon, buddy.
right. But like, I mean, for 13, 14 years, he's never like had an issue. Like everybody has always had a positive opinion of him, and he shows up to like cons to do like interviews and panels, and he's just the friendliest dude in the world. And like I don't know, he's just a totally stand-up guy, and I really appreciate him for what he does and who he is.
He's got that Keanu Reeves vibe,
right? Yeah,
where it's just like he's just the nicest person in the world.
Yeah,
it's like, oh my god. I definitely because he went. I didn't get a chance to meet him, but he was at a convention I went to 1 year. I think it was. I can't remember which con I was at. I was at a con, and he was doing a panel there. But this is like when I was much, much younger. But I wish I had a chance to go see him now, because it's never like you never know. But
right, yeah,
that's so cool. Dang, God, I forgot about Angry Video Game Nerd. I should look up his videos again.
Yeah, he's still killing it, man. He's still doing it.
This is great stuff for me because I get to learn. I get to go back and look at some new people. Okay. I have on my next list is I'm actually going to pivot and to take someone off of this list and put someone else on because it actually inspired me to talk about someone new. Is old school. This is even before the days of YouTube. Well, this was like when YouTube was also starting, but they created content, weird content on a platform called Newgrounds.
Oh, Newgrounds. Oh,
and
no.
Probably Newgrounds' most famous export from their site has got to be JonTron, Egoraptor, and their love child Game Grumps. Like, it's gotta be.
Oh, Game Grumps.
It's gotta be. It went from the dumbest, like, I didn't think it was gonna be that popular, because I was a fan of Ego Raptor for a long time. Just like the stuff he made on Newgrounds and the videos that he made. And the same thing with the early JonTron. I really enjoyed watching it. And then they made Game Grumps, and I was like, ooh, cool. Like, this is kind of interesting. But I was like, it's whatever. But, you know, lo and behold, some 8-9 years later, and a couple quadrillion million views, because everyone watches every single one of their videos. Like, their follower to watch rate on their videos is like 75%, which is insane. Like, people
that's
consistently watch. Like, my roommates watched so much Game Grumps that it got me to the point where I hated one specific series because it was so long, which was when they played DuckTales. Because my roommates would consistently hum the DuckTales theme song, like, DuckTales, woo, and I was like, oh, what is, because I wasn't watching it at that time, and they were, and I was like, you know. And then, you know, of course, they eventually split. Game Grumps is now doing everything. They're still doing their thing. I forget who the new guy, Aaron, and I forget the other guy's name, because I haven't really watched them. You know, they have them, and then they also spawn Ninja Sex Party, their band, and they have their whole content creators and all the crazy stuff that they're doing. And then, of course, lo and behold, the one internet star who somehow is able to get away with barely making any content, but is able to secure insanely lucrative deals and production value from his content, JonTron. Like, he can step away from YouTube. Like, he, when he did the flex tape, video. The flex tape video went hyper viral. It went everywhere. It got him a crazy amount of millions of views, but then he disappeared. On his channel, if you look at it, it goes from, I think it's sometime in 2017, 2018.
Yeah, I remember that. That was like a couple years ago.
That was the last video he did.
Yeah.
And he disappeared from the internet for literally a year.
Yeah.
You know, and when he came back to the Flex Tape 2, and that video surpassed Flex Tape 1 in terms of views in like 2 days, because everyone freaked out about it.
Yeah.
You know, and his upload schedule was like once every couple of odd months. Like, it's just random videos will pop out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And, you know, he has all these, you know, every video it's sponsored by some like mobile game that I've heard of and I've seen before he got sponsored.
Yeah.
And, you know, that pays for everything. And I'm like, he has so much money. And they came from, you know, his career started because he was making dumb videos on Newgrounds and like literally dumb content. It's really stupid, weird, random little things into, hey, let's sit on a couch with a friend and play video games, to you know, him being this successful content creator across all platforms. And I was like, to me, I was always like, that's such a crazy, you know, the humble beginning. When you really think about that, like, he is that every nerd. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at early JonTron, that's like, when you think, oh, he lives with his parents and plays a lot of video games, that's the look. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you imagine. The neck beard with the fedora. That's the look. You know? And now, look where they are. You know, it's the craziest thing to me, just seeing how small and humble beginnings people can have, transform them into this crazy level over the course of like in less than a decade. That just blows me.
The hell just happened? Somebody just followed me on something. Yeah, somebody followed me on Twitch. My fucking Twitch notification just went off. I'm just like, what? What is happening?
Who's next on your list?
All right, so next on my list, let's see. Well, in numerical order, we have, I mean, this one, I have a couple on my list that I feel like people are gonna hate on, but number 3 for me is PewDiePie. And like PewDiePie, oh my god, PewDiePie is ridiculous. Like, in every sense of the word, this dude is crazy. Like, I can't even begin to start talking. So I started watching PewDiePie right around the time when he started. Like, I was like in the like horror game, like screaming at the mic, could barely speak fluent English. Like, I was watching around that time, and I remember like he would always I would like watching his videos because like at the time I was like in college, and I graduated from college and I was living with a girlfriend at the time, and we'd broken up, and like I was living by myself and just trying to figure out, like, I graduated from college but I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just lost a relationship that I've been in for how many years, and now like the bills are piling up. But like PewDiePie to me was always like a source of comfort because I could just laugh stupid at his like dumb videos that he would put out.
Yeah, you're like, that's a nice.
Right.
You're like, I can just enjoy
It was
the simpleness.
right. It was a good release, and like I think the thing that I appreciate about him, like we talked about coming from humble beginnings, like I think everybody knows PewDiePie's story.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow him at all, like he started in Sweden. He had like no money. He was going to school to be something that he hated. He had like a janky computer. He sold hot dogs to like pay for his computer, and then he like made money doing like Photoshop, and he was able to buy like a good computer doing that. And then like from there he started making his content, and it just like exploded when he started doing his horror videos. And I think that in itself is something that is really cool because that's a good example of doing something that nobody else was doing at the time. Like, one, gaming alone wasn't very big on YouTube. Like,
No,
YouTube was like at that point like sketch comedies like Smosh and Nika Higa and stuff like that. Like, that was the big content then. Yeah. And he came out and started like playing video games, and it was such a foreign concept for people to go on a website and watch other people play video games.
And lo and behold, 10 years later,
yeah, it's become an entire industry, like multi-million billion dollar
industry,
right?
With people saying, "I want to make streaming my full-time career."
Right. So I think it's cool that he was like at the forefront of that. And really I think I admire him. I have here at a bulletin point that it came from. Like the media constantly, of course, being the biggest YouTuber, like the media would just go after this guy for anything. Anything he said slipped up, he would just get mauled by, and it never really seemed to like take him down. Like he got his like his YouTube original programming show taken down, like canceled. People lost their jobs over it.
Wasn't that because of an anti-Semitic?
Right. Yeah, that was because of the Fiverr guys. He made a video where he had the guys hold up like an anti-Semitic slogan, and he was only doing it to prove that you could literally pay these guys $5 and they would do anything that you asked them to do. And of course the media blew it up, took it way out of proportion. And I'm not trying to defend PewDiePie and say that he's perfect, because he's not. He's slipped up multiple times and did some really terrible things. Like, he has said some really bad things and whatever, but I honestly believe that he's not a bad person, and he has like raised millions of dollars for like really good charities and all this other stuff. So it's crazy to me that content creation as a career path can lead somebody down as much crap as he's been through. Like, I've never seen more determination to like just
hold through the mud, through like through the public eye for
something that you're making videos of you playing video games on the internet, and it just blew up into this whole thing.
And it's true, because PewDiePie is probably the most original like rags to riches story, because he went from nothing in a shitty situation to arguably one of the most successful content creators on the planet, if not the most successful content creator on the planet. Because I know for DLive, when he signed to them, it was like $100 million deal, or it was something crazy. It was a crazy deal for the exclusivity for PewDiePie to go to them. And just in general, his videos and everything else, his content is, and this is coming from someone who does not watch PewDiePie. I never really understood it, because I didn't get into him when he first started. I got into him when he was like mid-level famous. Like, I would say around, I heard about him, I want to say back in 2010. And this is probably when he was under 1 million subs, 2 million subs, right around that point. And I watched a couple of videos and I just never really understood it. But it's still, something to learn from, because it's like what he's doing, there is some level of learning that you can learn from him, because it's like he's doing a lot of things right. Like, you cannot argue that. When people are like, I fucking hate PewDiePie's content, blah, it's this, it's trash, blah. I'm like, yeah, but look at his numbers.
Right,
look at his growth. He is literally killing the game in terms of it. He had the world watching when he was having that race against T-Series to hit 100 million subs. 100 million? Yeah.
Yep.
You know, it was like a daily update on Reddit, on YouTube, on every social media. People are like, PewDiePie versus T-Series. I vote Team PewDiePie forever. And people were like rating other videos across all series of content, posting, vote for PewDiePie, vote for PewDiePie, all over the place. And I was like, what is going on? What is this crazy ass race, you know? And that only spurred his, further growth, minusing, the bot accounts people probably made. He still has, 90 million. I doubt there's anything more than like 100,000 fake accounts. People
YouTube purges that pretty often too.
Exactly. So. And he has, 100 million subs plus, and he has all these deals, and he's an internet sensation and star. Everyone knows who he is, and he was a true pioneer in the field, making video content on a platform that no one was asking for and no one knew that they wanted to watch, but it turned into something people wanted to watch.
Right, for sure.
And that's a great story of he did it first, and that's crazy. 100 million subs.
It's really interesting to like look at some of the other stuff too that like his content affected. Like, you think about like the deals, you go onto a stream now or a YouTube video and you see, let's play Raid Shadow Legends, and it's sponsored by some mobile game or whatever. It's sponsored by, like, he was one of the first people to like make video game developers and publishers realize that like we can have these people play our video games and it's literally free advertising for huge numbers. I pulled up, I'm a big fan of Skate 3, and like he played Skate 3 on his channel back in 2013, and it was just like a series of videos. He did like 5 videos on it, and he wasn't paid to do it. He just did it because he liked Skate 3. But those videos boosted Skate 3's sales when the game came out 2 years before that. It's already been an old game.
Yeah, it's an old game, especially for a skateboarding game, a sports game,
right? In
general,
right. And it was an older game, 2 years old, and the sales boosted by like hundreds of percent. Like that game rose to fame again, rose to popularity. And that's not the only time he's done that. He just did that recently with Minecraft. Like, Minecraft never really died. No. But like when he started playing it on his YouTube channel, the numbers exploded for Minecraft. It's just it's mind-boggling.
That was the Minecraft resurgence, which is which is crazy, because that's when we started playing Minecraft again, when we were streaming, was when he started playing Minecraft again.
Right.
Because we started seeing the trend of like, oh my God, no one's playing Fortnite. But all of a sudden, every streamer in the world was playing Minecraft, and everything. And I was like, what is going on? What's happening? It was crazy, like one person. And that's the crazy part about how influential gaming or just content creators in general are. Is like, they can make a content about one video about one game, and it will bring that thing back into full light, like that. Yep. Like a perfect example of that, like not to the extent of PewDiePie, but with Dr. Lupo and Escape from Tarkov.
Oh yeah,
he'd been playing that game for years. He'd been playing that game forever, and no one cared about that game at all. Mm-hmm. At all. And then all of a sudden, when he stopped playing Fortnite, and he's like, oh hey, by the way guys, this is other game that I like playing. You guys should check it out. And then there was that 2-3 month period where Escape from Tarkov dominated everything. And
it was on top of Twitch charts, YouTube videos everywhere.
Everyone was watching Escape from Tarkov content. Consistently, and the developers, like, they sponsored him right away. It's crazy.
Yeah. Right.
It's insane to see the kind of influence and leverage that people can have over all these games. Like, one person's decision can make or break some certain games. They can bring them back and make them a ton of money for no reason.
Yep.
Like looking at PewDiePie's videos, like this is a perfect example. Like I just wanted to pull up some of his information right now. He released a video 9 hours ago. Okay, he's playing a Phineas and Ferb game for the Nintendo DS. Ancient game. It's the video clip is of Phineas and Ferb, and there's a picture of him doing this. And it's been 9 hours. He has 2.6 million views on that video.
Oh my god.
9 hours. That's what like people dream of hitting like over a week, 2 weeks, you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
yeah.
You know, and he gets that kind of video footage in 9 hours. Like that's a crazy amount of views. You know, Minecraft, you know, he averages several million views. If not, no, he always breaks millions. Every single video
I don't think I've seen a video that didn't have at least 1 million.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think it's even actually at this point possible for him. Just getting 10% of his viewers to watch his videos.
Yeah.
Is 10 million views.
Right. Yeah. I'm looking at his Social Blade right now, and like on the daily, for all of his videos combined, he's getting on average about 8 million views a day.
Oh my good lord. That's an insane amount of just like sight for people.
8 million views every day.
You know, that's comparing that to the numbers that we had, we would have to stream every single day for our entire lives. And we would never hit with the amount of views he would hit.
No.
In a single, probably even 5-hour period.
Right, yeah.
You know, he is the true 1% of the video content world.
Definitely, yeah. And I think that's my last point that I had on him was like, it's very endearing to see that like throughout all this, it's pretty much just been him. Like he was alone for years until like 2 years ago, he hired 2 editors and that's it. Like it's him and 2 editors.
It's honestly mind-blowing that he hasn't hired more people or had a team developed behind him for everything. Like he could be cranking out so much more content. It's crazy to see that he made the decision.
But he's already doing daily uploads. Like
I know, but like he could be doing like, you know, like with more people you can do more content and more other stuff. I'm just kind of curious as to like why
like production value and
like
stuff.
Why did he decide to stay solo for so long?
Yeah.
That's kind of like my I'm like the inside, like how is his mind working?
I think that's like reading your audience, and I feel like he knows that like his audience likes that about him, and they wouldn't like a more produced like they like watching green screened Poppy Gloria give Pew News in a bad like desk. So, like the guy's got 100 million subscribers, and he's just like making this like shoddy like. It was a meme for a year that his camera quality was like terrible, and now like everyone just shit on him for it, and he's just like, yeah.
And now it's like if he changed it, it would probably get really negative. People are like, no,
right,
go back. We like the crappy camera. He's like, it's like guys, I think that's part of his brand. Like, so I can afford like a Canon Mark 7. Like, I can shoot in like 16K.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's a big one too. God, PewDiePie is such a huge. It's crazy when you think about it.
You could talk about him forever. He's done so much stuff in the industry. It's crazy.
It's huge. Speaking of humble beginnings, these are all for pretty much everyone starting from humble beginnings, pretty much. I have on here longtime favorite. Huge fan for years. I love their content. Pretty much everything they've ever produced, I have watched and enjoyed in some form. And they're a huge internet company. Like people know about them all across the board. Is Rooster Teeth, you know?
Definitely.
And if you guys are listening, and for some reason you don't know the name Rooster Teeth, you will know Red vs. Blue, Ruby. Are like their biggest exports, as well as the Rooster Teeth podcast, which is one of the older podcasts, one of the more successful podcasts as well. You know, and it's crazy that their company started as 4 middle-aged men who used to work for a telecommunications company, decided to make machinima when no one knew what machinima was.
Yeah.
And it turned into a web series, which got them awards and accolades. And then they're like, oh, cool. Like, we can afford to get an office. Hey, with a bigger office, we can hire more staff. With more staff, we can make more content. Hey, we can make skits. Hey, people like our skits. We should start recording more stuff, you know? And over the course of 10 years, they went from 4 people operating out of an apartment in Bernie Burns was the, you know, CEO and founder of the company.
Yeah.
They started in his house. They did all the recording and everything on a single computer in one person's house for years. And
that's so crazy.
They did all this, and then they secured, you know, GameStop deals. They signed with Maker. They signed with Paramount, you know, and they went from that to now in 2020, they're a multi-million-dollar, venue production company. You know, they have them. They have their movie studio, their game studio. Then they have a litany of different teams across their section producing content, and they have a crazy amount of revenue streams coming in, you know, because from Rooster Teeth spawned, like I said, one of their biggest exports, Ruby, widely popular amongst the anime community. It's a great series, great game. Then they also had Red vs. Blue, still going strong, still one of the best machinimas out there. And it went from a stupid, slapstick, weird meta comedy to like a very serious, very like well-written web series. Like it was
Didn't Red versus Blue, it got onto Netflix, didn't it?
It got onto Netflix. They got a deal with Netflix. So did the Ruby as well.
Yeah,
you know,
Ruby is also on Netflix, right?
It was crazy, you know. And they're, you know, 16, 17 seasons or however many there are in now. They have that. Achievement Hunter. They spawned a team of 2 people that just making random little gaming content, and now they have their whole channel, which is growing and growing and growing. They have all their game shows. They have their own website. They have a subscription service.
Right. Yeah.
That's when you know, like, they're making so much content where they're like, we have a subscription service for you guys to sign up to watch the content that we're making, you know?
Right.
You know, and that's one of the coolest things that I've really respected about their values and the way they run their company is they're very open to new ideas and very fast, very quick execution of those ideas. Like, perfect example. This is a perfect example. Is Barbara Dunkelman, who is she was one of their marketing people for a very long time. You know, she could join the company when she was really young, and she had seen everybody making content, doing all this. She said, "Oh, I kind of want to make some content," and she said it on a podcast once or twice before. And then in the span of like 2-3 months, they built a set. She got a crew of people, cameras, and like everything else. And now she's running another podcast under Rooster Teeth for like 3 years now. And it was like insanely fast turnaround for like content creation, because they're very like, hey, pitch the idea. Cool. Boom. Here's your team. Get your stuff together. Write it out. Plan it out. Get it going. You know, and then they'll build it. Same thing with Achievement Hunter. It was literally just like, hey, we want to make some gaming news videos. Cool. And now they're, you know, 25 people strong for the Achievement Hunter team with crazy merch line. And from them, they spawned the not Rage Quit. Oh my God, I forget the name of it. The Off Topic podcast. Yeah. And then they got the Dungeons and Nerds game that they're always running. And then everything else, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like to have a essentially like a content creation machine. Empire.
Yeah.
Right.
Like their job is to just chunk out content at a blistering rate. When people think about it, like every day they upload something. It's not even they upload like small, like 5-minute, whatever skit. They're like well curated, well created content, like on the daily. Even multi uploads in a single day. Like Achievement Hunter pumps out 3 videos a day. Every day. Like that is an insane amount of content that they're pushing through. Like just thinking about the actual logistics behind all that, it's like, because I've watched a lot of behind the scenes and stuff. They're like the days they go in, they're recording from like 8-9 a.m. until like 8-9 p.m. straight, like 12 hours of like straight game recording, because they have their long-standing Minecraft series that they've been running since the very beginning. That's still going.
Yeah.
And whatever else content they have, like every day. And then, like I said, they've acquired other businesses as well. They've acquired Kind of Funny. They acquired Funhouse. They acquired Death Battle.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a production deal with Paramount Pictures.
Jeez.
Yeah, like they have so many things going so well for them. And then they got so big to the point that they actually had to create not a manufacturing center, but like a shop person for someone to build props for them,
to do sets and stuff. Yeah.
And their set warehouse is huge. Like, it's massive.
Right.
Like, they got so big to the point they're like, we need our own dedicated set creation manager dude with his own staff to make everything for us. And I was like, that's the dream. That's like, seeing that happen, I was like, there's hope. We can be middle-aged old dudes and still be making, like, the dream is still alive once you, like, because they were 30 something years old when they started the company. They were old, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And yeah, in terms of this industry, that's old.
Super old. Unbelievable.
So funny talking about Rooster Teeth, because the next content creator or whatever on my list is actually Funhouse, who is a employee of Rooster Teeth. They are employed by Rooster Teeth. It's a group of people that do just like funny gaming skits, content. They do they have their own podcast called Dude Soup, which is a great podcast, by the way. It's probably one of my biggest podcast influences for what we're doing here.
Dude Soup is great.
But
I mean, what do you talk about? They're one of the other few podcasts actually out there, so.
Oh yeah, there's only like 3. There's like but it's a reason I put these guys on the list is I think they're a really good example of like a corporate content creator, like for their whole existence, because they weren't just Funhouse. That's their current moniker, what they're going under. But like Adam Kovic has been he's like one of the head figures of Funhouse. He's been making content for years, and it's pretty much all been contractually obligated content. He worked for, he had a series through Machinima back when Machinima was a YouTube channel,
still a thing.
Called Inside Halo, where he just talked about Halo rumors, Halo news, competitive Halo, and it was just that. And then Inside Halo became Inside Gaming, which was a segment on Machinima where he and Bruce Green would host and just talk about the poppin' issues for the day with gaming, and it was comical, funny, whatever. And then Inside Gaming became its own channel, and they ran that for a long time. And then Machinima got disbanded, so they had to quit Inside Gaming, to which they made Funhouse. And they were doing Funhouse for a while, and then they needed funding, so they sold to Rooster Teeth. So it's just really crazy to see, like, in, all the other content creators I've talked about have been, like, independent. So, I mean, they, like, PewDiePie was with Maker Studio, and, like, whatever. They had, like, they had money coming in from other places, but, like, Funhouse, Adam Kovic, Bruce Green, they've always been... Like Bruce Green, even to the point his career started, he's not with Funhouse anymore, but his career started with G4 TV back when that was a thing.
Oh my god.
He was a senior producer on G4 TV.
That's old even for me and you.
Right.
That's
right.
A long time ago.
For anybody that might be listening, it doesn't know what G4 TV is. It was a TV station that was we had it on satellite through DirecTV, but it was a network that just dealt with all things like nerdy culture, video games. There was like essentially what you see on YouTube now with people doing video game reviews and stuff like that, but it was on network TV. It was on satellite TV,
which was crazy.
It's super crazy.
Me know you had more money than I did when I was a kid, because I definitely didn't watch it when I was a kid. I had I had the old antenna ears, and I had
my god.
I had to tweak those to get my TV to work.
There's shows like X Play and Attack of the Show, and which
God.
Attack of the Show is actually a podcast still called, I think, just Attack or something like that. I don't remember the actual
Yeah,
name of it,
it
but
is.
it's crazy that his roots came from that. So this group has been a contractually obligated corporate content creation machine for literally like 20 years almost.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool to see an example of that works really well and still holds its character, and they're still funny and original, and
Because they are really like they're really funny for how long they've been in the game. They're still they still got it. Like their content is really good, and it's
right.
really funny.
Right, yeah. They have a long running series called Demo Disc, and
I
it started when a fan sent them a binder, literally just a giant CD binder full of PC demo discs that they
Oh
had
my
from
God.
whatever. And they just would make a video once a day where they'd pop in a demo disc and try to play the games on it.
And
And most of the time,
it's like the shittiest production ever because there's literally the entire staff is still working behind them, and they're just sitting in plastic chairs, just like, all right, just play this game.
hop it in and try to play this bad RPG that barely runs and has compatibility issues with because it's meant for Windows 98.
I know. I've seen so many clips of just like the best bits from demo disc, and I'm like, oh my God, that's the greatest. Which I have to say, Elise is my favorite person on that show. She's so
Oh yeah, Elise
she's
is hilarious.
so funny. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
She does stand-up comedy, and it's so good. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's
They
crazy.
did it was a Rooster Teeth thing recently where it was like a stand-up comedy challenge with different members of Rooster Teeth, and it was hilarious to watch.
Saying, man, it's a beautiful thing to see them still cranking out content, still being so funny, and able to work with a company like Rooster Teeth. You know, the fact that they're able to give them the funding, that they're able to continue to make their stuff, and they pretty much like. Usually, when a company gets bought out, there's usually like contingencies and rules, and be like, "We don't want you to do these things. You're working under us."
Right.
But they pretty much gave them money and be like, "Here's some floater money. Keep cranking out content until you're essentially self-sufficient. You're just gonna be under our banner. We just want you to
Yep.
make content for us, you know." And they're
Yep.
just like, "Just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great at what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You just needed more time to get like discovered,
Right.
and get the gears rolling." Fucking love Funhouse. All right. Next on my list, stepping away from the gaming world for a sec, and this is my most favorite YouTube non-gaming channel that I watch, and I watch every day because they crank out when before the whole COVID and quarantine happened, they would crank out 5 uploads a day.
Holy crap.
Yeah, lot of content. And this is
Jeez.
a content creation group called JK Films. And they are a group of Asian American comedians. Typically, just the two major people in part of JK would be Bart Kwan and Joe Jitsukawa. And they formed a company called JK Films, which did sketch comedy like Ryan Higa, because they worked with Ryan Higa and Nika Higa and all them back in the day as OG YouTubers, because they were one of the first OG Asian YouTubers back in the day. And they actually created a very popular format for news segments, because their whole thing was, for JK Films, they created sketch comedy kind of content, sketches. So they would release a sketch every week consistently. And it was and their whole motto was teaching good things in a bad way. So they're always trying to teach a good value, but showing it kind of like in a like raunchy, funny kind of way. And I love their content because it hit home for me, because I can very connect with it. Being an Asian American, I related to them because they're both first generation Asian American men.
Right.
And then from there they spawned several other pieces, YouTube channels under the JK branding, but the biggest one is called JK News, which I think is in terms of like just straight consistency, they have never missed an upload. Even during this whole COVID thing, they're still uploading 5 times a day.
Wow.
Which is
Crap.
mind blowing. Like that they're able to keep up this content, because their content series, like a lot of people have actually copied it. Is they have 3 cameras, so there's 2 cameras facing this way, left, right, and the one facing like straight. And then they have 2 people at a table on each side where the camera's facing, and they have news articles sent into them, and it's just them sitting there, and they discuss that news article and give their opinions and thoughts about it. Because JK News' whole thing is real opinions, real news, realer opinions. You know, because a lot of times when people talk about the news, they're very much like, oh, like I don't think this is very politically correct. People say it in a very like controlled, like curated manner.
Say the right thing for sure.
Exactly. But for them, they'll say it in a very like in a real way that you would like if you're having a conversation with your friend, they speak it like that. You know?
Okay, yeah.
They're very much like oh hey, this person for a perfect example, this stepdad got drunk and he tried to rape his son's daughter. And it's a terrible news article, right? People would be like, oh my God, that's horrible. He could never do that. Oh my gosh. All the, the curated PC way of saying things. Bart Kwan, a father, a successful businessman, entrepreneur, smart man, said, oh, I would take that mother beep. I would grab him by the ears, put my foot on his face, and boosh. I would jump and drop kick his face in as hard as I can. And they talk about it in a very real way where they feel like there is no point. And that's something I like. I love that because they've always preached there is no point in us making content if we can't be who we actually are. There is no point in doing it because it's not truthful and it's not honest. And that's something that I very much enjoyed because like they've been around for a very, very long time and they could have been more successful when they decided to do the more gaming route because they had a gaming segment that they would try to do, but they realized that it wasn't what they enjoyed doing. So they're like, we want to do what we want to do and we're going to keep doing that. And they've stuck to their guns and continue doing the content that they enjoy doing despite what everyone else has said, because they're like, well, this is what we want to do. This is what we enjoy. We're not going to conform to what other people want us to do, because if we did, there would be no point in us making the content because it wouldn't be good. And I took a lot away from that. And that made me really appreciate the fact that they were so honest about it. They're like, yeah, we could have made a lot more money doing, anything else, but we chose, it's not what we wanted to do. And money isn't everything. We wanted to be able to create the content that we want to be able to make. That's it. The money will come because the people who want to watch our content for what we enjoy and do will go from there. Perfect example is that they actually upgraded their studio to a huge production facility in downtown Los Angeles. But when they moved the set, because their original set is in the original office they got back in like 2005. And it's like a small, crappy little office with like hand painted walls that they did themselves. It's all like really like low budget, low key. They switched over to a big facility where they built a set just for them, and it looked like a new setting, where it's like 2 cameras facing this way and this way, the slanted tables, and it looked like a new setting. People hated it. People hated
Oh, really?
They hated that format. I hated that format because it felt so distant, so far away, and so like not the style that they had become famous for. But when they switched back to it, it's a lot closer. Like imagine if it's like they're like this far from the camera, whereas before they were at that wall and further.
Okay.
Yeah, and people said like, oh, we don't like this. So you know what they did? They sold that studio and went back to that office.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're like, oh, like this is the content you guys didn't like. This
nice.
And they went back to it because they're like, we could have stayed there, but no, we want to make sure we're making the content.
Right. And that's the thing is a ton of content creators would have stayed there too, because like I've seen that time and time again where people change format to a less than favorable reaction from their audience, and they just kind of take the general mindset of like, you'll get used to it. Like, this is what we're doing to advance ourselves, and you gotta kind of get over it.
You gotta suck it up, yeah. But they're like, no, we'll scrap it. They scrapped it. They said they spent like $15 million on that, like getting everything ready. And I was like, yikes! Like they have their offices down there now. They just they filmed that segment, their most popular segment, in that old office. They said the only reason we have this office is just to film this, and that's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, God, and I love them, and I very much recommend, people check them out. But just because in general, like, you do not see a lot of YouTubers like them cranking out the level of content that they do. Like, it is a crazy amount of content.
That's insane.
They have
5 videos a day is nuts.
Because they have 26 editors.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they have 26 editors because their filming schedules, they film twice a week for 14 hours.
Holy crap.
Like, in one day, they said they typically go through like 180 to 200-ish articles for each shoot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they're just like,
literally,
it's just the whole day. And they've gotten like some pretty big YouTubers and stuff to come through their, because they always have a guest to come in and talk about it as well. And I've seen YouTubers go on there who they act a certain way on their channel, but when they're on JK News, they're very like different. They're like, they feel like more themselves. Like how they would react, like I said, when they're with friends. They act like how they actually are. And I'm like, I like that. This is a really cool concept. All right. And we come now to the biggest content creators, the ones that we both feel are at the top of the list. So T, who is your most influential content creator?
This one I know I'm gonna get hate for, but it's odd, and I'll give the reasons why I think he's the most influential, obviously. But to me personally, I have to go with Ninja as the most influential content creator for me. Because not particularly because I like his content all that much. I don't watch much Ninja. I really don't. Like, I'll tune in every once in a while. But Ninja is the biggest reason why he's super influential to me is because he got me back into my current schedule of streaming. Like, I wasn't streaming for a long time, like 3 years I went without streaming. And watching his content and seeing what he was doing at the time when Fortnite was blowing up and the moves he was making, and like it inspired me. Like, I'm like, this is crazy. I used to stream like RuneScape and I don't know, I would play just random games, and it was mostly just my at the time girlfriend, my now wife, a couple of our friends. We would just hang out in Twitch chat, and I would play a video game on like PS4 or something. That was the extent of my streaming. But to see, like, I didn't watch much Twitch or anything, but like to see him doing what he was doing at that time and how he was like handling the situation, and to see all the stuff that was going on behind the scenes, it was just crazy to me. And it just like gave me a push back into like, I want to do that again. Like, that is really, really cool.
It is. Yeah. Cause I will have to agree with you on that for sure, because Ninja is definitely someone whose content that I enjoy some of the content he's done. But I can definitely respect it, because definitely seeing his massive growth and seeing that, like, oh my God, like you can make a career out of this. Like, more so than anyone streaming wise that I've seen. His is a story where I'm like, he went from streaming to like a decent sized community of people to being the face of streaming.
Yeah.
Period. Like,
right.
The face of streaming. You know, people can argue like there's a lot of other big content creators. Yes, there's other big content creators, but Ninja is a household name. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be like, oh, you can't go to your parents and be like, oh, you know, Dr. Disrespect, right? You know, Dr. Lupo, you know, Shroud, you know, whatever, right? They'll be like,
right.
No, not really. You say Ninja, they're like, oh, yeah, I know. I've heard of him.
Right.
He's the
dude with the blue hair.
The dude with the blue hair. He did the ball drop on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, right.
I don't see enough movement.
Yeah.
You know, like,
why is nobody dancing?
You know, like, you know, he is a household name, you know. And it's such a fact that he went from that and he is, a couple of accolades to his name, second ever and only Red Bull sponsored esports athlete, behind the original megastar of gaming, Nate Shot.
Nate Shot, yep.
There's that. And I think he was the only gamer ever to be on the front cover of ESPN.
Yeah, that's insane.
That was a big one, because I'm like, he was on the cover of ESPN magazine. Like, that's insane. And now he does content with like Drake. He has content with Jordan Fisher, a huge producer and music guy. He has played with he plays with Trevor May, who's the pitcher for the Twins. No, I forget the sport he plays, or the team he plays for, but it's a baseball team.
Yeah,
he's played with QBs. He's played with like huge like.
Yeah, he's always doing stuff with. He's had collaborations with the NHL. Everything. He's had collaborations with. He has his own line of Adidas clothing. Like
he has his clothing, he has his games, he has his sponsored everything. Like everything is sponsored from him.
You can go into a Walmart and find ninja action figures, ninja toys, plushies, posters, pillows, blankets, headbands. Literally, like him and his wife Jessica, they literally like turned his streaming career into like an actual like
dynasty. I would call it a dynasty. Right. Like this is the family legacy. And it's crazy because speaking of his wife, she's actually, I would say, the one who's not more important, but like she's a much bigger part in his success than a lot of people give him credit for.
She does literally all of the behind the scenes, the accounting, the everything.
That's crazy to me. Like he's the face. He does the work, the actual like work of like creating the content, doing everything. But she is like the business person behind, who's talking to the producers of companies or senior managers and setting up meetings, setting up the brand deals, and getting all this stuff done behind the scenes. And I'm like, this is incredible. Like she has got some like crazy chops. And she used to be a reporter for some gaming, I want to say like gaming news channel. I forget, because that's where she met Tyler, Ninja Blevins, originally when he was a competitive player for Cloud9 when he was playing Halo competitively.
I think that's so crazy too, that like people like to like imagine your streaming career dwarfs the fact that you were on Cloud9 for an esports team
for Halo, which kind of put Cloud9 in like the terms of like that, because Cloud9 started right around, I feel like that's when they started in the Halo days. Like that's when Cloud9 was formed.
Yeah,
like the fact that his streaming has engulfed the fact that he was a very high tier competitive esports player for a very prestigious gaming organization.
One of the most well-known gaming orgs in esports.
One of the most successful ones, too.
Yeah.
And that's a big one, because there's like FaZe. So it's like, oh yeah, FaZe Gaming Clan. But
FaZe is super popular, but like
they're popular,
in terms
of being good and competing, it's like Cloud9, Liquid, like them. Like the fact that his streaming career has overlaps that. Like most players, when they hit the level of like joining a pro team, they're like, this is like the top. But he's showed them like that's just the start. Like it's just here. And now, like I said, household name, everyone knows him. People who don't even watch streams or are interested in video games have heard his name at least once.
And I think that too, like his coming from a competitive gaming background and then jumping into streaming, I think he was really one of the pioneers of shaping modern streaming into what it is today. And that like if you go onto Twitch and look at the most popular games being played right now, it's all competitive games. Like people go to watch streams, and the most successful streamers are definitely people who are really good at the game that they're playing.
People have,
whether it be esports people or just like no names that just show up out of nowhere and decimate, like that's what people are wanting to see in a live streaming setting right now, is people who are really good at the games that they're playing.
Because it shows people like seeing skill.
Right.
At the end of the day, people just like seeing people who are, it's getting to the point where seeing people stream and playing video games is becoming more about it's almost like watching a sport, because it is a sport, especially at a competitive level. It's seeing someone compete at a high level where you can be like, you don't quite understand everything they're doing, but you can still look at it and be like, it's impressive. It's like watching Michael Jordan dunk. You're like, oh, that's really cool to see. But if you're like playing as well, you're like, oh my God, he's doing unbelievable.
You realize how incredible it is that he's actually able to maneuver like that. That's
exactly.
like,
and you see people playing competitive, because you're exactly right. Like seeing the top charts right now, it's all competitive games, all shooters. It's COD, it's Valorant. Those two.
Let's see. Most popular games right now. I mean, aside from just chatting, but that's always up there.
I was like, just chatting has gotten popular. That's a whole nother discussion for another day. That's a whole. I got things on that to say.
We have Fortnite,
Shooter.
Call of Duty,
shooter.
League of Legends, which is like
high tier competitive
staple of competitive esports, right? Like League of Legends has been around forever. And then you delve into like GTA 5 and Minecraft and stuff like that. But if you go onto Twitch any given day of the week, it's almost always going to be Call of Duty, Fortnite, Apex, like games like that when they were huge, Escape from Tarkov when it was huge, competitive shooting games.
People love watching it.
Right.
And it's just a testament to Ninja, like I said, he did it right and he did it well. With Fortnite, because it was his clips of him not being like funny, but like clips of him like just pooping on people.
Right, just pub stomping, like getting 20 kill games, and
when
like,
people were like, how? When people were just hiding and didn't know how to build, he was dropping 20 plus bombs, every game, and like T said, he's got back in the stream because of Ninja, and I started playing Fortnite because I watched I saw clips of him playing Fortnite, and I was like, oh, this is a fun game. And then from there I started streaming as well, because I'm like, oh, I can stream, that's kind of cool, let's try it out. And it's a testament, like now every other person in the world wants to become a streamer after seeing his meteoric rise to fame from just a normal everyday streamer with certain benefits and perks of having, money from his C9 days, to being on top of the world and then leaving the top of the world to not even leaving and stepping down. I would say he sidestepped from the limelight into a more stable position, which everyone
for sure
says is dumb, because why would you leave Twitch? You have all these people, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yes, he does. But he has to consistently beg and manage his subscriptions to consistently be making that money, whereas the move to Mixer was a guaranteed paycheck. Like, hey, I'm clocking in at 9 a.m. I'm going to stream for 8 hours. I'm going to take a 30-minute mandated OSHA break. And then I'm going to clock out, hug my wife, eat some dinner, play with my dogs. Like, he has a 9-to-5 streaming job with a consistent paycheck, and that doesn't even include just the flat money he gets from people who just want to give him money.
He's still getting donations and he's still getting all that stuff,
and and then all of his other
his brand deals, his everything. His YouTube channel, which still gets millions of views per video. He still uploads every day, pretty much.
Yeah. And that's such a crazy smart move for him to move over, because now he can just focus on making content, And that's what I want to say is one of the big things I liked about Ninja. I liked some of his content more than Fortnite when he was playing other games.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed his personality outside of some of those other, like, the hyper popular games, because that's hyper active, screamy Ninja. It was not the one I really enjoyed. But he was playing games like when he was playing WoW,
I was just gonna say, when he was playing WoW Classic, it was so entertaining just sitting and watch him, like,
learning and just enjoying the game. And I'm like, I actually really like this. Like, I could sit and really watch and like enjoy. And because I'm not a big watcher of streams myself, which is terrible. Someone who's a streamer, it's terrible.
You're not part of the community, man.
I need to, but those are the days when I would watch his content. I'd be like, oh my god, like, this is really interesting. Like I really enjoyed it. You know, it's very interesting to see like the switch he made. And I think it's a very smart move, and it's, you know, you can't deny, like him or not, you cannot deny the fact that he has had he's left a huge imprint on the gaming and streaming world for people to try to like see that there is an opportunity to become content creators in the gaming realm, which is great. It's an amazing story to hear. And it's funny you say Ninja is yours, because I had his best friend and streaming buddy galore, Tim the Tatman, as my probably top gaming streamer and content creator that I enjoy watching. Because funny enough, like Tim is actually one of the only streamers I actually do watch. Because I've been subbed to Tim for 3 years now.
Oh my God.
Yep. I am a long time Tim watcher. Like I've always watched Tim the Tatman, because I randomly found Twitch several years ago, and I found his stream, and this was when he was still like relatively, at this point he was pretty popular already. Like this 3 years ago was like right around Overwatch was the big thing. And I had kind of watched a little bit like when he was leaving CS and sliding into Overwatch, and that was when I really became part of his community, and so really started watching it. And just the thing I really liked about Tim was he has always been hyper involved with his community. Like super involved with his community. He lets his community choose a lot of his sub sounds, a lot of his icons. But this was back before he became super mainstream, because now it's like he has a curated brand he has to hold to. But you know, back when he had more freedom to do other things, that's what I really enjoyed about his streaming, because he was very friendly. He's very in depth. You know, just like you said with Shokyo, he was always trying to remember people's names and trying, you know, getting people to come back all the time. And I really enjoyed that small town. He gives me that small town vibe kind of feeling from him.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I loved watching him, and I loved his personality, you know, and it felt real to watch him, whereas other streamers don't feel real. You know what I mean? And this comes back to the whole thing where I said, like, I want people to be real and I want to be realistic. Other streamers, I feel like they're putting on like a facade. Everyone puts on a little bit of a facade whenever they go online and whatnot, but for most people, when they go on, it feels like they gas it up too much.
I have a completely off topic thing but I was watching a stream today I was on my Xbox, and I was playing Skate 3, and you can see like people streaming on Mixer on your Xbox, right? Like it'll broadcast whatever. And I clicked on this guy's Skate 3 stream, and he was just like, literally, I watched him for about 8 minutes. And in that 8 minutes, I don't think he said anything other than, guys, if you want to follow, hit me up on this social media, blah, 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 blah. And if you want to get involved with the community, like 8 minutes straight of him just pushing, like, and just like failing the same trick and skate over and over again. And he had like 200 live viewers. And I'm like, what is the appeal here? What are you like?
What is your content?
Right. Like
you're not talking to your community. You're just yelling at them to sub to you.
Right. And that like,
which is funny because Tim,
I'm like, how is this guy getting this?
That's actually like, a big part of his brand. Yeah. How is he that kid doing that?
Right. He's getting those numbers, and like people were like actively chatting and stuff. But yeah, he just like gassed himself up for 8 minutes. And I'm like, this is so fake.
Maybe
like
there's no way that.
Yeah.
maybe that's a really bad 8 minutes to watch for that person.
Like every single follow, he like screamed out their name, and there was like horns going off, and like it was ridiculous. I'm like, what?
I feel like for someone at that, for him, maybe it's a lot of like kids watching. It's gotta be.
Could be.
I can't imagine someone around our age group following content like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like the kids like that loud. Welcome, Ball Crusher 69. Welcome to the firm. Like, and fucking all these things blaring off all at the same time. So like, they enjoy that.
It's the Modern Warfare 2 syndrome where you get a kill. It's just blah, blah, blah,
you know, when you're older, you're like, nope, I don't want any of that. I don't want to have nothing to do with that at all.
Right.
Yeah. And it's funny you said that, because Tim actually does that to his community. He actually tells his community, give me money now. But it's kind of like he does it in a way because it's an old standing joke he made a long time ago about like, oh, people always just asking for money. And then it kind of became a thing. And now it's part of his brand where he literally just yells at his community to give him money and they'll do it. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. I cannot believe he does this. I want to keep my sub going.
It's like, man, what a dick, but like, I get it.
Yeah, because he did that in Uno once, where there was that Uno game he played with Ninja.
Oh, that was super funny.
And he literally, I love
so
that.
Much.
That was such a good. Yeah. I was like, dude, this is amazing. I bought Uno because of that. I was like, I want to play Uno.
Yeah.
And he told us community, he's like, hey guys, he told me, he's like, if I lose, you're paying. I better get those 15 gifted subs back. And I was like, he was aggressive about it, but then it's like you see his numbers go up. I'm like, there it is, 15, nice, right, 20. Yeah, and I'm like, is that easy? Damn, I should yell. I should yell at my stream to give me money more often.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tim, Ninja, two of gaming Twitch's biggest content creators on the platform by far. And it's just great to see because one, it's like they're very successful. They're hard workers. They grind a lot. But the cool thing that I really like to take away from it is at the end of the day, they're just having fun. Right. And that's such a great thing to see, especially during the golden age of Fortnite. And I say the golden age. This was a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When they I want to say season 2 through 5 was the golden age of Fortnite for them because the content they were making was really funny. The game hadn't gotten oversaturated with insanely sweaty players, and content creators and stuff. People were just still kind of enjoying and playing the game and just going for high kills, and he was just having fun playing Fortnite. And I'm like, this is fun, this is great, and I really enjoy seeing content creators having fun playing the games that they want to play. Right. Because he was playing with, it was him, Ninja, Dr. Lupo, and they would just hang out. They wake, hey, good morning, let's play some Fortnite.
Yeah, and they just squat all day.
Yeah, and I'm like, that is vibes. That's hard vibes I want to have. I love that.
Right.
All right. So those are our top content creators. I think we covered a lot of ground, covered a lot of good things, and I want to say, man, it was great. I learned a lot about some of the people that you enjoy. I hope you learned some stuff about myself as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
This is I love talking about stuff like this. It's just I don't know.
So, and we're actually hitting an hour 30. Yikes. So
oh my God.
We actually had a discussion about this earlier thing. Oh, about 5 minutes per person. We should be able to hit that pretty easily. We're very close to doubling that time.
Blowing it away.
We're okay with that. Like I said, thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys coming and watching the first inaugural and only gaming podcast on the internet, the Burrito Bowl. Please, give me a follow and give my brother over here a follow as well. We'll have everything in the links below, the box around. I don't know where we're posting this quite yet. Give us a follow. Please let us know what your top 5 gaming content creators are, or just content creators in general. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you guys next time. T, anything else you want to say?
I just want to say that this has been something that we've been looking forward to doing for a while now. We've been planning it out. And it's really good to just see it come to fruition. I'm excited to make more of these and get into some more deeper conversations about content creation and gaming. And it's just good to have somebody to talk about this with. So.
Love it, brother. Love you. Oh, hey, and everyone who's listening, you better follow and give 5 stars on everything. Let's just see if this works. 5 stars on everything. Even if you don't like it, just to spite me, give me 5 stars. Give us 5 stars.
Smash that thumbs up button. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel.
Hit everything. Pew, 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 pew. All right, guys. Have a good night. Take care. See you guys in the next one. Peace.
See ya.
Is that how you do an outro?
I don't know. We'll work on it.